It finally looks like we've got some real news about Ice Age 6, and it's straight from John Leguizamo, the guy who voices Sid the Sloth. In a recent interview, Leguizamo opened up about his return to the franchise and shared that the upcoming film will be fun for viewers of all ages. That's because up until now, updates on this sequel have been few and far between, even though the film was announced a while ago. But now that Leguizamo is speaking publicly about it, there's definitely more to be excited about. Even though Blue Sky Studios is no longer around, the Ice Age franchise is far from frozen. Disney officially announced Ice Age 6 during D23 Brazil, and it's currently set to hit theaters in 2026. The good news is that a bunch of familiar voices are coming back. Along with Leguizamo as Sid, we'll also hear Ray Romano as Manny and Denis Leary as Diego. According to Leguizamo, this movie is going to feel like a celebration of everything fans have loved about the franchise since it first started back in 2002. During an interview promoting his other film, Bob Trevino Likes It, Leguizamo was asked what made him decide to come back to Ice Age. The franchise hasn't had a theatrical release since Ice Age Collision Course in 2016. Sure, there were spin-offs like Scrat Tales and the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild on Disney+, but the original trio didn't voice their characters in those. So this will be the first time in nearly a decade that the full main cast is back together on the big screen. Leguizamo said there's something heartwarming about being part of a story that families have been enjoying together for generations. He described it as a sentimental journey, explaining that now it's not just parents and kids watching, but also grandparents who watched the original when their kids were young. That kind of multi-generational appeal is rare, and it's part of what made him eager to return. He also teased that the new movie will be packed with action and laughs, promising the same kind of fun that made the earlier movies such hits. He said people have grown up with the whole series and it's sort of a milestone in children's lives. Now it's like the grandparents are coming with the parents and grandchildren, and it's a very sentimental journey for a lot of people. The movie is really funny and cool, a lot of action, and a lot of hilarity from Ray Romano, Denis Leary, and hopefully myself. Another interesting update is that although Blue Sky Studios has closed, some familiar behind-the-scenes faces are still involved. Ice Age 6 will be produced by 20th Century Animation under Disney, and longtime franchise producer Lori Forte is staying on board. Leguizamo explained that because the team knows the characters so well by now, it makes everything easier to write and perform. The humor flows better, and the overall process is smoother because of that shared history. The official release date for Ice Age 6 is December 18, 2026, and even though that's still a ways off, fans are already speculating which classic characters might make a return. Of course, Manny, Sid, and Diego are the core trio, but there are several other fan favorites people hope to see again. Let's start with Scrat, the wild, acorn-obsessed squirrel who arguably became the face of the franchise. Even though he wasn't in Buck Wild, Scrat had a short film called The End that seemingly gave him closure. But that doesn't mean his story has to be over. The internet exploded with love when Scrat finally ate his acorn, so fans might worry that Ice Age 6 could ruin that perfect ending. Still, it's hard to imagine a new movie without at least a quick appearance from him. He's simply too iconic. Then there's Ellie, who first showed up in Ice Age: The Meltdown. Her character had one of the most memorable arcs, going from believing she was a possum to becoming Manny's partner and Peach's mother. She played a big role in Buck Wild, allowing her brothers Crash and Eddie to go off on their own, which showed how far she's come. Her presence in Ice Age 6 feels essential, especially given her close connection to Manny and Peaches. Speaking of Peaches, she's another character fans want to catch up with. Born during the dawn of the dinosaurs, Peaches was last seen preparing for her wedding in Collision Course. Strangely, she didn't appear in Buck Wild, but there's an opportunity now to revisit her character and maybe even show her as a mom. Seeing Manny and Ellie become grandparents would be a fun and emotional twist. Crash and Eddie, Ellie's adopted possum brothers, have always been the comic relief and even got their own spotlight in Buck Wild. Although that movie suggested their days of center stage action might be over, their chaotic energy is perfect for a comeback. Their dynamic with Sid is particularly funny, and fans would love to see more of their mischief. Another character fans haven't forgotten is Rashawn, the human baby from the very first Ice Age movie. While he's only a baby in that film and hasn't really appeared since, there's a moment in Buck Wild where a cave painting hints that he hasn't been forgotten. Bringing Rashawn back as an adult could be a nostalgic callback to the original and a fun way to tie the story back to its roots. Let's not forget Fast Tony, the fast-talking armadillo who tried to profit from everyone's fear during the meltdown. He's only been in that one film, but his over-the-top sales tactics and ridiculous behavior left an impression. He's the kind of character who could easily pop back into the story for a laugh or two, especially if he's still running some kind of shady business. Buck, the one-eyed weasel introduced in Dawn of the Dinosaurs, has become more central to the franchise in recent years. He even headlined the spin-off The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. Although his story took him into the Lost World, there's no reason he couldn't come back to join the main gang again, especially if Crash and Eddie are still bouncing between worlds. Buck Wild's personality always brings something new to the table, and he'd fit right in with whatever new journey lies ahead. And if we're talking villains, then Captain Gut from Continental Drift deserves a mention. He was fierce and funny and caused serious trouble for our heroes. Although it seemed like he met his end, the Ice Age Adventures mobile game hinted that he might have survived. Reviving him, possibly in a reformed role or as a surprising twist villain, could inject some tension into the story. After all, Ice Age has always balanced heart and humor with a little bit of danger. With all these characters potentially coming back, there's also space to introduce someone new. A fresh face could help keep the story exciting and offer new dynamics within the herd. Maybe it's a young character learning about the world or a mysterious animal from another region. As long as they add something meaningful and fun, a new addition could really shake things up in a good way. In the end, Ice Age 6 isn't just a return to the franchise, it's a chance to bring back the magic that made the earlier films so beloved. With the original cast returning, familiar producers at the helm, and plenty of possibilities for fan-favorite characters to return, the movie is shaping up to be something special. It'll be a balancing act between nostalgia and new details, but if anyone can pull that off, it's this prehistoric crew. The countdown to December 2026 has officially begun. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop, and if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.